Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the YouTube Wars. This is Detroit coming to you from the bunker, the garrison here in Rochelle Park, New Jersey. All right, so the United States just went. That turn is over, and now it is Corporal 24's turn, who is the commander of the uh, United Kingdom forces in the entire world. Basically, because the United Kingdom has forces all over the world, at least on the map, anyways. Yes, he's got to deal with a German fleet off the coast of Gibraltar. He also has to deal with a powerful German Air Force in France. And of course, he's got to deal with the pesky Italians under the command of VK Cowboy. Initially, it looked, round one, that the British were going to be thrown out of Africa. Well, fortunately for the Allies, that didn't quite happen because under the leadership of Corporal 24, the situation was stabilized. Not only was it stabilized, but for the most part, the Italians were thrown out. Okay, how about in Calcutta? Well, so far the UK forces are holding out, and the Middle East. Forgot to mention, Corporal 24 in the last turn actually built a minor industrial complex in Iraq, and from what I'm being told, he's also building another industrial complex, a minor one, in Egypt. Guys, sit tight. Let's see what happens, and I hope you enjoy the show. All right, this is the current ground situation for the British round three of this episode of the YouTube Wars. As we can tell, the British are pretty safe up in the British Isles. They have about 15 infantry, give or take. They have, 4 air wings, okay, of fighters, one of which is a French squadron. Off the coast of Sea Zone 106, you have a British naval task force or fleet that I'm thinking is going to be utilized and deployed against the smaller German fleet off the coast of Gibraltar of 2 transports and 1 destroyer. All right, in northern Africa, the British are doing very good since most of the Italians and Germans have been taken out. Okay, all that remains are 2 Axis infantry divisions, 1 Italian artillery division, a bomber in Tunisia, and in Libya you have a German Air Force of 2 fighter wings, actually 1 fighter wing and a tactical bomber. Okay, so by the most part, the British are in control of the situation in Africa. We don't know what VK Cowboy will do in his turn, since he still has a naval transport. And during his last turn, he also built an aircraft carrier. So he also has a bomber that he can use for further intervention in Africa. But I'm not quite certain if that's what VK Cowboy will do, since the British do right now appear to have the upper hand. In the Middle East, you have the British also looking good, since they built a minor industrial complex. I believe that Corporal 24 is also planning to build a secondary minor complex in Egypt. All right. As for Calcutta, well, the British have definitely sustained heavy casualties, but they have also inflicted heavy casualties on the Japanese. But there is a threat looming in the horizon with a Japanese fleet that just took over Malaya. That fleet is threatening Calcutta, but is it strong enough to really threaten the British assets in Calcutta? I don't think so. All right, guys, sit tight, and we shall come back shortly with the order of battle for the British. Okay, we're going to see how Commander Corporal 24, Field Marshal Corporal 24, arrays his forces in battle. We'll be back. Okay, guys, welcome back. So let's review the purchases that Corporal 24 made for the British. The British have a starting income of 54 IPCs for round 3. All right, so G.I. Joe will be Corporal 24 will be buying 12 points of damage for the industrial complex in Calcutta, India. He will also be buying 1 infantry, okay, 4 artillery divisions, 2 mech infantry divisions, an additional 1 infantry division, and a minor industrial complex that he will be placing, I believe, in Egypt. All right, and that's for a total of 54 IPCs. All right, so since Corpo 24 has a few battles to roll, I believe I'll be able to review the battles with greater detail. I believe I can recall what his movements were. So, submarine in Sea Zone 106 off the coast of Newfoundland will deploy and will engage 1, 2, and 3. Attack the British fleet, the German fleet in Sea Zone 91. Okay, 2 British fighters, okay, in England will deploy at a count of 3. 1, 2, and 3. All right, so let's bring the other fighter to attack that fleet. All right, and they move at 3, so they have in their gas gauges 2 movements left because there is an airbase in London. All right, so then there will be an amphibious operation performed also to, presumably once that fleet is taken out, you'll have 1 naval transport picking up an armored unit, 1 infantry division, and attacking the German ground forces in Gibraltar. Okay, a second naval transport coming from Canada, from Nova Scotia, will pick up an artillery and 1 infantry and will also deploy 1, 2, and 3 and link up with the other transport so that it can also perform an amphibious landing. Okay, so that'll be 2 infantry, 1 artillery, and 1 armored division attacking 2 German divisions and 1 artillery division defending Gibraltar. All right, let's go up in the north. We have a single British destroyer moving into Sea Zone 119 in order to attack the single German U-boat that has been convoying British convoys going back and forth from to and from America. Okay, we have a single remaining fighter, British, that will deploy at a count of 2. 1, 2, to assist with that attack. Okay, and that fighter has 2 movements left in its gas gauge. All right, so basically we have 3 battles that are being fought, that are part of the order of battle for the day. Let's recap. The naval battle in Sea Zone 91. If that is successful, the amphibious operation against the Germans in Gibraltar, and then the smaller engagement in Sea Zone 119, where the British hope to take out that German U-boat. All right, guys, we'll be back with the results of combat. Stand by. All right, guys, let's review the battles that were fought between the Germans and the British here. All right, so the battle in Sea Zone 91 was successful. The German Navy of 2 naval transports, the German fleet of 2 naval transports, 1 destroyer was sunk. The British did not sustain any casualties. They were able then to proceed with the amphibious operation, of which they were successful as well. The British sustained the loss of 1 infantry division, whereas the Germans lost 2 infantry and 1 artillery divisions. All right, let's go up to the north now. The battle in Sea Zone 119. Okay, here the German U-boat was sunk, but the German U-boat was able to sink the one British destroyer that was attacking it. Okay, so it was tit for tat. Both sides lost units. Okay, so now let's go into non-combat movements, or actually not only non-combat, but let's return these aircraft back to their landing spots. So the fighter in Sea Zone 119 goes back to London. Okay, the 2 fighters that participated in the attack in Sea Zone 91 will be landing in British New Guinea. All right, they had 2 gas movements left in their gas gauges. All right, so now let's go ahead with non-combat movements. Let's see if I recall this. All right, the 2 British infantry in Anglo-Egypt, Sudan will be moving up north. the British Army in Alexandria will be pulling back into Cairo. Okay. The one artillery piece in Kenya will move up north into Anglo-Egyptian Sudan. All right. The naval transport, okay, in Sea Zone 72 will pick up the 1 infantry division, the 1 mechanized infantry division into Italian Somaliland, will sail up north and land in Persia, eastern Persia, and will annex this territory for the British. Okay, let's put a marker there indicating so. All right, the naval transport in Sea Zone 80 will pick up 1 infantry division in Iraq and will move it into West India. All right. 1 infantry division will move into Shan State. The AAA in Burma will go back into Calcutta. Okay, and I believe that's it for all the movements for the British under the care of Corporal 24. Let's go ahead with placement of units, folks. So, 2 mech infantry, 1 regular mech infantry will be placed in let me see, right here in Pro-Axis Allies, Pro-Allied Persia, I meant to say. Okay. The newly purchased industrial complex will be placed in Egypt. There it goes. Very strategic move on Corporal 24's part. Now let's pick up the 1 infantry division, 5 artillery, and the 12 damage points that we will be removing from Calcutta. So, we'll be taking 10, what is it? 10, 11, and 12. So that means that you will only have 5 points of damage on the industrial complex in Calcutta, which means then that Corporal will be able to place 4 artillery divisions and 1 new infantry division in Calcutta. So that's 2, 3, and 4. All right, for a total of 5 units placement in Calcutta. All right, I was forgetting to mention also that there was a non-combat movement. The bomber in Egypt was flown over to Iraq. So that bomber now is in Iraq. All right, guys, so basically the British will be collecting 47 IPCs. They do have a national objective in Europe of an NO of 4, so that brings them up to 51. Corporal did roll his convoy disruption here for the Japanese. The Japanese incurred 1 point of damage. That was it, 1 point of damage. So that brings him down, brings the UK down from 51 to 50. Okay, again, UK is collecting, according to the income tracker, 47 IPCs. All right. UK does have a national objective of 4, so that brings them up to 51. But it goes back down to 50 because of the convoy disruption performed by the Japanese. So the UK are officially collecting 50 IPCs for this turn. All right, successful round for the British. Nothing out of the extraordinary. However, there was a lot of damage control. The Germans were checked in Gibraltar, so Gibraltar's been taken back. The Germans also sustained the loss of their fleet. Now we can expect this fleet of naval transports to be sunk by the Germans in round 4. That's what I'm presuming. That's what I'm expecting. That's a sacrificial force or fleet that the British are expecting to lose. All right, guys, so this is the end of the UK's turn. We are in round 3. UK's turn. So now it is VK Cowboy's turn, who will be commanding the Italians, the pesky Italians in the Mediterranean. Let's see what VK Cowboy does in his turn. All right, guys, as always, hope you enjoyed this episode of The Garrison. Don't forget to hunker down and play.